Yo, what's up, baby? This is Bert Watson, and you're listening to Radio MMA, because this is what they do and why they do it, baby, all night long, because they rolling hard, fast, and on the money.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the show. Up next is a guy we haven't talked to in a few years here. I believe last time we talked to him, he was fighting under the Pro Elite banner. Let's bring in Jake Heun. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Yeah, it has been a long time. Yeah, I was Pro Elite. I was still living out in Utah then.
Yeah, for sure, man. So a few months back, we seen you at World Series of Fighting 19 and a loss to Clifford. Just talk about that fight for the fans that missed it.
You know, there's a lot of stuff backstage leading up to that fight. You know, I'm not going to take anything away from Clifford. He subbed me, and you know, I should have been ready for that. But you know, going into that fight, I was getting ready to fight Teddy Holder, who, you know, as everybody saw with him knocking out Thiago Silva, he was a guy who was going to stand and throw with me. So I was focusing a lot at that time on, you know, being, you know, a more crisp striker, because Teddy's a brawler, clearly. I mean, that hook he hit Thiago with might have knocked a horse out, but, you know, previous to that, he was getting lit up pretty decent. And, you know, about 3 hours before the fight, Ali, the matchmaker for World Series, gets on the phone with my manager and says, does Jake want to fight Thiago Silva? And I called Ricardo Laborio, my head coach out here at ATT, and we all kind of talked it over, and they, you know, put the reins on me a little bit, because of course I was chomping at the bit. You know, for me that's a great fight, I think, in my brain. But I think for them, they're thinking, you know, maybe get ready for maybe taking Thiago Silva on 2 hours' notice isn't the greatest idea for your career long term.
Sure.
When, you know, hindsight's 20/20, maybe me fighting a good wrestler, grappler type on 2 hours' notice wasn't exactly the best plan either.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, it's like I said, I can't take anything away from Starks. That dude was tough as hell. I hit him with some shots. I hit him with a spinning elbow that I thought would have floored him. But, you know, I should have stepped up that day and either taken care of Starks or Silva. And, you know, I got to give a ton of props to Teddy Holder for, you know, kind of grabbing his balls and stepping up and doing that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Just talk about this fight. Seemed to catch me as a surprise. When did it all go down?
Which fight are you talking about? The fight, my upcoming one, or the?
Yeah, your upcoming fight coming up here.
Okay, you know, I've been complaining. I've been putting World Series out on blast, saying that they don't fight their guys enough and all this kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I think they had a fight fall through or something, so they called me up and said, hey, do you want to fight? I said, absolutely, hell yeah, you know, and I'm glad to fight. I'm excited to fight. I'm thank World Series for that. But, you know, I mean, at the same time, you know, I'm not getting my contracted amount for that fight that I'm supposed to get, and I'm not too upset. I mean, let's be honest, I'm trying to be a company guy. I'm not really upset. I'm glad to be fighting. But, you know, I got that. It's kind of like, But, you know, they managed to get me a guy that it's going to be an exciting fight. You know, he's a kickboxer. He's a stand-up kind of guy. He's not going to go out there and look to kind of take me down and take away my weapons. Not that I'm not just dangerous as all hell on the ground. But he's going to stand in front of me, and it's going to be. I think they were just looking to put on an exciting fight, and you know, I'm happy for it. But you know, it's 2 weeks' notice to get ready. You know, there's not a lot you can. Not a lot you can really prepare for. You kind of go into it with whatever you have already in your tank. You know, whatever you already got chambered, you're going to put in there. And you know, lucky for me, at the end of the day, this sport of ours, at the end of the day, it all comes down to being a fist fight, and I know how to fight, so I'm not too worried.
I've been hearing this complaint from quite a few guys. I think it was Freddie Asensio, somebody along those lines. They left World Series of Fighting because they couldn't get fights. Is this a major issue?
Yeah. You know, I mean, I would absolutely like to fight more often. You know, I mean, fighting once or twice a year is great when you're TJ Dillashaw or, you know, even in World Series, you know, you're getting paid more money. But, you know, when we're getting paid the amount that we are, it's hard to fight twice a year, man. I mean, you know, especially to try to compete at the level that this sport is growing at and you're expected to be able to compete at on a 2 weeks' notice, you really can't work a 9 to 5 and expect to be able to do that. You know, it's just not feasible.
Sure.
You don't see guys in, you know, the other professional sports. They're not working other jobs and stuff. They're able to do it full time because they're getting paid right.
Right.
You know, and I'm happy with my contract that I have with World Series. You know, I got 2 more fights. I got 1 fight after this one, so this is going to count as a fight on my deal. But that being said, you know, World Series, they did me a solid by getting me on this card. I will say that. But at the same time, I'm not getting paid my contract pay for this. You know, I'm taking less money so that I can fight because flat out I need the money.
Right.
I'm down here in Coconut Creek. You know, I'm trying to do this. It's a good thing I live with my friend Shawn Jordan, who just got a big bonus with that hook kick.
Right.
So I haven't he's let me slide on rent for a couple months.
Nice.
You know, I mean, it's tough. You know, and I'm trying to figure out. You know, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna end up going back out to Austin, Texas after this because at least out there I can kind of coach and work a little bit. You know, as opposed to we're out here at Creek, it's full time, full go, and you really can't. The ability to try to get by like that on, you know, say you fight 3 times a year, maybe if you're doing all right, you make $30,000, $40,000 tops. You know,
Yeah.
You know, it's tough, man. You know, you really can't expect guys to do it, and I think if they want to do what they say they want to do, and I've got faith in Ray and Ali that they can get it done, but they got to put on more shows and they got to fight their guys more often.
Last week, Twitter blew up, man, over this Stitch Duran thing. Now he's been added to World Series of Fighting for this upcoming fight this weekend. Just talk about the importance of a good cut man in MMA.
Oh man, you know it's huge. You know, just like in boxing and just like in MMA, the cut man is a guy that he can make it so that you can go out there for another round and have a shot.
Right.
You know, and that's just in the fight. You know, a good cut guy can close something or at least stop something bleeding when the doctor comes over to take a look. You know, he'll be able to get you back out there and give you that shot. I mean, there's nothing worse than knock on wood right now. I've never had a doctor call off one of my fights, but I've had buddies come over. I've had buddies where it's happened where the doctors come over and waved it off, and they're, you know, outside of that cut, they're mad as hell. They still want to be in the fight. And as to the backstage, I mean, I'll tell you what, there's something to be said for a guy who can legitimately wrap hands. Not a guy that, you know, oh, I used to box, I can wrap hands a little bit, I can do this. But these guys that, you know, the Stitches, the Houses, you know, the Big Robs, you know, those guys, especially the guys, you know, that travel with the big shows out in, you know, these guys, they wrap your hand so hard so perfectly. And when you're a guy like me that, you know, I'm gonna chuck some awkward angled overhands and, you know, I'm gonna put hands on people.
Sure.
It gives you such a peace of mind that, you know, well, maybe I didn't get some janky rap job by some dude who's a jiu-jitsu guy, you know. Because, I mean, I'm sure you've been around the sport enough to where you see on some of these regional shows, and hell, I've seen it on bigger shows, get some of these guys on the undercard that have never been there, you know, and they're just putting a couple wraps around their hand, and
right.
You know, it's a joke, man. There's something to be said for these guys. They bring a level, and you know, Stitch was there the last time I was at the Ultimate Fighter, and the guy's a consummate professional. He was super cool, down to earth, had a really cool perspective, and there's something to be said for that. These guys that have been around big-time fights, they've been around big-time fighters, you know, there's a way that they talk to guys backstage that, you know, guys that might be a little bit, you know, their piss might be a little too hot, a little too early, you know. They bring that level of professionalism to it that I think, you know, you really need.
Okay, man, I've been asking a lot of guys this question. If you could train with anyone in the world, past or present MMA, who would it be and why?
Oh, man.
Is there, like, one legend out there or one guy that, you know, you're like, that guy knows his shit?
You know, not from a real training aspect, but I would love to just hang out with Don Frye.
Nice.
You know,
yeah.
maybe pound a couple of beers and go out and, you know, shoot some stuff and see what happens. I really like that guy. I've always been a big fan of his. Ever since he got into that fight with that big Korean, I don't know, I always screw up the guy's name. But when they just collar tie each other and just go to beating the dog out of each other, you know, that's one of those ones that just made me love this sport in general, you know. And then, you know, being out in Hawaii all that time and stuff, I always had a great respect for BJ. You know,
right.
BJ and I, we we traveled in similar circles and things, but we never see each other out and that type of thing. But we never actually trained together. And I would have really liked to have been able to get some mat time with BJ.
Prediction time. How will your fight finish?
I'm going to finish the fight. I'm going to say, I'm not going to predict a round, but I'm going to say it's probably going to be it's either going to be late in the first or in the second, and I'm going to say TKO. Honey Bear, hand in the air, backflip, partying in Vegas.
Nice, nice. Okay, Jake, thanks for the time. Anyone you'd like to thank or promote your social media?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody and everybody could follow me on Twitter at Jake Heun. On Instagram, I'm Honey Bear MMA. And I got to thank On It. They got some of the best supplements and workout materials out there, and they hook me up every month. I love them for it. Got to thank for this fight, I'm a company called Fighter Alias out of Vegas, and of course my guys at ATT and Alienware, always taking care of me a little bit. And I appreciate you guys having me on tonight as well.
Awesome stuff. I appreciate it, and good luck tearing down Vegas this Saturday night, man.
We're bringing it down, baby.